I'm going to tell you some things I've been telling our kids since they were little, and they're doing way better than we did, and their marriages are off to a better start. So let me start by speaking first and foremost to or about single men. Don't raise your hand because I'm about to insult you. So the way this works, single men today are not in a position where they are ready to marry. They've actually created a category called NILF, N-I-L-F. And what this is not in labor force. We used to call it deadbeat, but instead we decided to have an acronym. There are now a record number of able-bodied young men not in the workforce. We dealt with this at Real Men recently on a Wednesday night, and I'll revisit it briefly. See you guys on Wednesday night. But today there is a record number of able-bodied men who are not working full or part-time jobs and have no intention of doing so at any time in the near future. In addition, there are 7 million men just not in the workforce, not doing anything. Ladies, let me just ask an honest question. If you are single, do you want your man to have a job, yes or no? Yes. See, a lot of times guys don't understand. Guys are like, I bet you she really is into my car stereo. No, she's not. No, she's not. No, she's not. She could care less. In fact, what she wants is a Bible and a job. Those are her love languages, okay? So what happens then is today young men are not ready for marriage, and part of it is the government just destroyed an entire generation and their future a few years ago. Oh, let's talk about that. So what happened was this thing called COVID hit, and the government said, hey, be a good citizen, go home, sit on the couch, and don't do anything. And a lot of young men said, oh, for the rest of my life? And that's kind of what they heard. So a whole generation of young men goes home who are not at high risk for COVID anyways, and rather than working, they just go home. And what happened then was they left the labor force, and who did they live with? Their mother. So a record number of young men left the labor force and also moved back in with their mother. We now have record number of young men not working and a record number, percentage-wise, of young men, 20s and 30s, living with their mother. Okay? So let me just ask the mothers, is this a good idea? We just found the problem. They're like, I don't know. Okay, we'll ask the fathers. Men, is this a problem? Yes. Louder, quicker, more assertive. We've just hit the parenting breach. We've just reached our problem. Now, what we see as well, today, 63% of young men in their 20s are not dating a gal, not intending to pursue any woman. They're just out of relationship. Only 34% of young women are single. Okay, and I got this from the CDC, so we're just following the science. So let's say 2/3 of men aren't in a relationship, but only 1/3 of women are not in a relationship. How does that work? Thanks for asking. There's 2 answers. Number 1, younger women are dating older men, or more than one guy. That's a potty mind. That's a potty mind right there. That's a potty mind. Wow. Sir, Old Town is down there. So younger women are dating older men, and also they're bisexual, and if they can't meet a guy, they are dating each other. I wish you could see your face. It's awesome from here. Just be like, Okay, so what we see now is that what are the young men doing? They're not working. They're not going to college. They're not in church. They're not living on their own. They're at their mom's house, and what are they doing? Video games, pornography, and social media. Or as I like to call them, the beast, the false prophet, and the antichrist. Those 3 variables. So now they have record mental health. Record mental health. The only thing that young men are better at than women is killing themselves. Young men, particularly in their 20s, that marrying window, 20s and early 30s, 4 times more likely to end their life. Here's what I'm telling you. You have been lied to, and it's not working. And so at the end of the day, of course, if you're 30, okay, let me say this. If I was 30 and I put my faith in Joe Biden instead of Jesus Christ. I didn't have a job. I lived with my mother. I didn't have a girl on the horizon. And my decision every day was whether to waste my life on Twitter or TikTok. I would be depressed. So I would turn off my phone. I would go get at least one job and start voting for people who expect me to go to work. That's what I would do. So for you young men, you need to know that you have been lied to. And ultimately, you were told that to be a good man is to go home and to be passive and to be one who is under the authority of government, not God, and over-mothered and under-fathered. Okay, I haven't said anything controversial yet, so we've reached that point in the sermon. So men, young men, are over-mothered, under-fathered. All the fathers said? Amen. And so, okay, I'm going to back up in case you throw something. So when the boy is little, does he need his mother? Yes. So mother's in the first position, father's in the second position. When the boy gets older, needs his father. Controversial, more than his mother. Okay, all the dads said way more, and all the moms are tweeting about their displeasure. Because what happens when a boy is little, a mom's instincts are protect him, feed him, nurture him, keep him out of harm's way, make sure he succeeds and he feels good about himself. When he's in his 20s, dad says, you need to let him grow up, make some mistakes, stumble over his own feet, earn his own food, get off the payroll, lose a little bit. And so what happens is, if you don't have a father who steps in those crucial years, you get boys all the way to retirement. They never become men. Grace and I have had this conversation. We've got 3 boys, 2 girls. And when the kids were little, they really, really needed her. And they needed me, but they really, really needed her. As they get older, they really, really need me. Now they need her, but they really need me. And so there was a certain point with each one of our sons where I told Grace, I was like, I got this. He's going to flunk that class, right? He's going to wreck that car. We're not going to let him kill himself, but, he's going to get close. Like, he's got to figure this out. He's got to figure this out. And so the way you build men is through adversity and hardship. And mothers and governments always try to remove any adversity, hardship, or difficulty. And as a result, we don't get men. And we don't get men who are ready to marry and have children and pay the bills. And now what we have is the most foolish cultural governmental plan you could conceive of. Men who are dependent, not independent. Government and mother is taking care of them. We do not have enough people making babies to replace population. We have racked up incredible national debt, and we don't have men going to work to actually tax to pay it off. This is a complete and total collapse. So what I want to tell you, in particular, young men, stop looking out at the fool's parade and just look up to your father and ask him what his will is for your life. Okay? That's what we're going to do now. All of that to say, if you're here and you're in your 20s and you're like, I'm triggered and I'm troubled and this just sounds all very wrong, you've been lied to. You don't know what you're doing. It's not working. Okay? And I tell you that not because I hate you, because I love you. And once you realize this, you'll see that you have been lied to and it's not working.
Hey, howdy, Pastor Mark here. Thanks for viewing the clip. And if you'd like the entire sermon, we've got it ready to go.